Welcome to Mathematics Tour. This is the third topic from IGCSE Mathematics syllabus. There are 8 videos in this topic. If you are seeing this channel for the first time, please kindly subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to receive a notification anytime I upload new videos. Your subscription means a lot to me. Let's begin with the first video. What is a fraction? A fraction is a part of a whole. Let's say you have an orange. That is a whole. But when you divide it into 4 parts and take one part, then you have taken 1 out of 4, written as 1 out of 4, which is referred to as a fraction. Don't forget that you have 3 out of 4 left, which could also be written as 3 out of 4, which is also a fraction. So what happens when you combine these two fractions together? That is 1 out of 4 and 3 out of 4. So what happens when you combine them together? So of course this should add up to a O, that is 1, because you took 1 out of 4 and you have 3 out of 4 left. So when you combine the two, you should have a whole. A fraction could either be vulgar, that is 2 out of 3, 4 out of 5, 7 out of 8, or decimal, e.g. 0.66, 0.8, 0.875. Fractions of this type are referred to as vulgar fractions, while fractions of this type are referred to as decimal fractions. Now let's go to types of fraction. Basically, there are 3 types of fractions. We have proper fractions, improper fractions, and mixed fractions or mixed numbers. A proper fraction is a fraction whose numerator is smaller than the denominator. Take for instance 2 out of 3. 2 is the numerator and 3 is the denominator. So other examples are 1 out of 5, 7 out of 9, 8 out of 11, and so on and so forth. An improper fraction is a fraction whose numerator is bigger than the denominator. Take for instance 3 out of 2, 5 out of 3, 9 out of 7, 11 out of 8. Then a mixed fraction is a fraction that contains a whole and a proper fraction. Take for instance 2 whole, 3 out of 5, 4 whole, 7 out of 8, and so on and so forth. Basically, these are the 3 types of fractions we have in mathematics. Next, we'll discuss equivalent fractions. How to get the equivalent fractions of a given fraction. You can easily get an equivalent fraction of a given fraction by either multiplying or dividing the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Take for instance the equivalent fraction of 20 out of 60. You could either divide 20 and 60 by the same number. Let's say 5. So 5 goes, so you can say 20 divided by 5 over 60 divided by 5. Okay, so 20 divided by 5 will give you 4. Then 60 divided by 5 will give you 12. So that means 4 out of 12 is an equivalent fraction of 20 by 60. So in summary, you can say 20 out of 60 and 4 out of 12 are equivalent fractions. Also, you could multiply 4 and 12 by the same number to get another equivalent fraction. Let's say 3. That is 4 by 3 all over 12 by 3. So this will give us 4 times 3, 12, and 12 times 3, 36. So 12 out of 36 is also an equivalent fraction of both 20 out of 60 and 4 out of 12. These are the two ways you could get an equivalent fraction of a given fraction, either by multiplying or dividing the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Let's look into two examples. Write down three equivalent fractions of 1 out of 4. So you have 1 out of 4. You could either multiply 1 and 4 by the same number, or you divide 1 and 4 by the same number. So for this one, let's use multiplication. So let's multiply 1 and 4 by 5. That will be 1 by 5 over 4 by 5. So this will be 5 out of 20. So 1 out of 4 and 5 out of 20 are equivalent fractions. To get the second one, you could either use 1 out of 4 or 5 out of 20. So let's use 5 out of 20. So we're going to have 5 out of 20. So we want to get the equivalent fraction. So let's multiply once again. So let's multiply 5 and 20 by 3 to be 5 by 3 out of 20 by 3. So this will give us 15 out of 60. So 15 out of 60 is another equivalent fraction. Okay, so to get the third one, you could either make use of this or this or this. So let's use 1 out of 4 to get the third one. So that will be 1 out of 4. And in this case, let's multiply 1 and 4 by 2. So we have 1 by 2 all over 4 by 2. So this will give us 2 by 8. So this is the third equivalent fraction. So the three equivalent fractions of 1 over 4 we got are 5 out of 20, 15 out of 60, 2 out of 8. So if you reduce this, and this to lowest form, so you will get 1 out of 4. That means all these are equivalent fractions of 1 out of 4. So let's look into the second one, and that will be the end of this video. Write down three equivalent fractions of 25 out of 35. So let's write 25 out of 35 here. So to get an equivalent fraction, you could either multiply or divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So for this one, so let's make use of division. So 5 can go in 25 and 35. So I can say 25 divided by 5 all over 35 divided by 5. So this will give me 5 out of 7. This is the first equivalent fraction. So let's get the second one by using 5 out of 7. So you have 5 out of 7. So in this case, we are going to make use of multiplication. So let's multiply 5 and 7 by 2. So you have 5 by 2 over 7 by 2. So this will give 10 out of 14. So this is the second equivalent fraction of 25 out of 35. To get the third one, you could either make use of 5 out of 7 or 10 out of 14 or 25 out of 35. So you could use any of the three. Okay, so if I want to use 25 out of 35 to get the third one, 25 out of 35. So in this case, I'll make use of multiplication. So let's multiply 25 and 35 by 2. So you have 25 by 2 out of 35 by 2. So this will give us 50 out of 70. So this is the third one. So the first one is this, the second one is this, and the third one is this. So if you reduce all these fractions to their lowest form, so you get the same thing as 25 out of 35. So 25 out of 35 is also 5 out of 7. So that means 25 out of 35, then 5 out of 7, then 10 out of 14, then 50 out of 70 are all equivalent fractions, because if you reduce them to their lowest form, so surely you will get 5 out of 7. So